Have you ever thought, I just need more web design clients, I just need to book more projects, and then I'll be okay? Well, here's the thing. You have real costs associated with running your web design business, and it's not just your time. And if your pricing doesn't cover all of those costs, booking more web design clients doesn't fix your problem. It just means that you're going to lose more money faster. And that's the conversation that fractional CFO and host of the Pivot to Profit podcast, Pam Jordan and I had on my podcast just a couple of days ago. We also talk about money trauma, where it comes from, how it's influencing your pricing decisions, and what it takes to really break through that subconscious pricing ceiling so that you can charge profitably and sustainably and not lose money on your projects. So here's a clip from our interview. And then definitely go listen to the full episode number 205, where Pam breaks down the exact formula for figuring out what you need to charge to run a business that's profitable and sustainable.
So I'm shaking my head vigorously because so many service providers underprice their services because they don't understand all that goes into it. They have money trauma. When they should be charging $8,000, they're charging $3,000 because they feel a self of like that they're not worthy of it, or they don't have enough experience for the $8,000 build when it really should be an $8,000 build. So when it comes to pricing, the first thing is most of you are not charging enough, and I'm just here for it. We work with hundreds of entrepreneurs, and then the last 18 months, the biggest problem that we've seen in 6, 7, multi-7-figure businesses is pricing. So when it comes to pricing, Shannon, the first thing that you want to do is start at the bottom. How much profit do you want and need to make? How much money do you need to pay yourself a distribution, to pay the principal portion of your debt, to put aside for tax planning, to put aside for investment in new software, new team members? How much money do you want to make? That's the first number you need to decide. And in the software or in the web development designer space, that should be like minimum 25%. Like 25 is the floor of what you should be making. I have a client that's in the 60s of net profit. So if I'm saying words that don't make sense, go to AI and ask what your net profit is and how to calculate it. So if we're saying for easy math, you wanted a 25% net profit on a build, then you need to then look at your direct costs. Because if you have any subcontractors, maybe you have a content person, you have a graphic person, you have a coder person, whatever those costs are, you need to add up. And then you need to look at your overhead. And this could be your salary. This is your software. This is your rent. This is at any advertising costs that you have. And a lot of people, business owners, when they're doing pricings, don't account for overhead because they're like, oh, well, I have to pay it anyway. Okay, but you have to pay it anyway with the money that you collect. Unless you're going to pay overhead out of your pocket, unless you're going to pay for Zoom and Kajabi and whatever out of your pocket, you need to charge your services. That needs to be part of your service cost. And so once you know what your target profit is, what your direct costs are, and what your overhead costs are, then you get your pricing. And when it comes to overhead, you can do it just as a percentage, or you can do it as a flat. Like if I know I can do 2 builds a month and my monthly costs are $1,000, that means you need to add $500 to each build just to pay your monthly software and your rent and those things. Easy math. And that's how you figure out what to charge your client. So you might be charging $3,000, but once you look at your target profit, your overhead and your direct costs, it's costing you, like you have to charge $5,000 just to make a profit. And far too many service providers are undercharging and devaluing their services and not making money. And they're looking at the bank account and they're like, but I'm working so hard. Where's my money? And the answer is you're not charging enough because you're not considering the profit, your direct costs, and a percentage of your overhead that needs to be accounted for.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.